Hey y'all, hey, what's up? What's up? This is your girl, Lamisha Nicole. I'd like to start off with a short story. Some of you may know I was in the military, and when we had to, there was an assignment that we had to complete. It was like this big, pretty much it was a physical laborious assignment to where you had to exert a lot of physical energy, but you also had to have your thinking cap on so that you don't make mistakes so that your team suffers. And so in this assignment that we had to complete, we also could not fall asleep. And so there were major consequences if you fall asleep. And you don't even want to look like you're about to go to sleep. You know that zombie look of any sooner I'm about to just be out. Um, you couldn't do that. So you had to be on top of your game. And so I struggled. I was a lot younger then. I struggled with how am I going to carry out the duties that are set before me and still maintain. I had this bright idea that, well, I can carry out this physical labor, but I'm also I also need to figure out how to not fall asleep. And the only thing that I knew of that worked for me previously before that time was taking 5-hour energy drinks. So I'm like, okay, bright idea, right? Load up on lots of candy, chocolate, fruit, fruity candy, and go ahead and take two of those 5 hours. You will not go to sleep. This was my bright thinking then. And I'm like, this will work. I have lots of sugar in my system now. I'll be like on a sugar high, right? So that should keep me buzzing. And then I have the 5 hours. But here's the thing, the location that we were in, you couldn't take stuff in with you. So I literally had to like binge everything in a short time frame. And no one could know, like the leadership, they couldn't know that you had this. So you had to do everything back in the quarters, but it's like if you were going to do that, you had to do it leading up to the time that we were going to pretty much be in this one facility for 12 hours because it would have been like an overnight thing. And so I know it's very shame. It's very shaming that I'm even considering this as the story, but this um, is a reminder that because you think that you have to fulfill a huge task, and for me, it was okay, I had to fulfill a lot of laborious energy and I had to stay up. I couldn't go to sleep that night because it was an overnight thing. We had to stay up, be attentive in everything to complete the task and to help your team win because it was like a competition as well. I thought that I had to load up with sugar, binge 2 5-hour energy drinks. Do you know how dangerous that is? Oh, I'm just laying out on the air today. Do you know how dangerous binging 2 5-hour energy drinks? Like, first of all, one is recommendedly dangerous, but two, in such a short time frame, literally um, one after the other, thinking, okay, that'll give me 10 hours of energy to stay up in addition to the candy, not thinking about not having anything else in my body. So, ultimately, that was an equation for a complete crash to come, like at any moment once it wore off. Thankfully, nothing terrible happened. I did get pretty sick the following day because I hadn't put nutrition in my body. I was just going off of fumes. And so it was definitely not the smartest choices for me to make. And definitely after that, I never drank another 5 hour energy drink again. I'm just thinking, oh, it was the 5 hours. I did too many at once. Hmm. What I should have did was outsmarted myself and not did it. And I'm sure everything would have carried on as needed. I'm absolutely sure everything would have just carried on. I ultimately put more strain into my body. I added more anxiety because of how I was feeling, thinking that I couldn't carry out the duties that were set before me based on um, my natural energy that I would have just given, based upon the assignment that was carried out. Like I didn't trust in my teammates to help, support and carry on where I couldn't move forward and do my part. And so this is where we are going today, friend. I want you to outsmart yourself and just don't do it. I need you to delegate. I need you to make the right decision. Okay, the right decision is to delegate the task that you know whether you could or could not. Even if you could, I still need you to delegate that. Okay. Um that's my that's my story for the day. Outsmarting yourself and don't do it. But here's the thing. That's not it and that's not all. There's more to come from how else can you outsmart yourself and don't do it. So I'm going to give you a few tips today on other ways that you can outsmart yourself and not actually do it. So I'm Lamisha Nicole. I'm a faith influencer and marketing strategist with Marketing with Mish. We help you elevate your social presence by streamlining and automating, then monetizing to double your clientele using kingdom principles. And so go ahead and type in the chat the word jumpstart. Okay? Type in the word jumpstart. If you'd like 30 pieces of content to kick off next month and get your online presence automated and create a memorable, unique presence to grow and engage your audience. Okay, so, yep, right now, go ahead and do that right now if that is you. Now, let's get right into all the details. If you wanted to check out more, if you want to go to the website marketingwithmish.com, you can check out more to see all the details on how that could work. All right, now let's get into it. So type "let's go" if you feel me. All right, type "let's go" if you feel me. All right, all right. So, what do you guys think about multitasking? What do you think about multitasking? I mean, seriously, is this a thing that's kind of like the grocery store feeding us bad food, selling us food that's bad for us, and then in the long run, here we go. We have all these diseases, we're dead because we were eating the food that we thought that we should eat. Is that what multitasking is? Now, I'm gonna be the first, okay? Because I was the queen of multitasking, okay? And I tell you, and I've told everyone, anybody that knows me, I've told you before. Listen, multitasking was my thing. I couldn't get away from it. It was almost like I was addicted to it. I had to get multiple things done at once because I wanted my hands in the pot everywhere. So I'm thinking, okay, I can, because I really want these as quick as possible. So I'm thinking, okay, I can make breakfast in 3 minutes. This was literally a thing. I can make breakfast in 3 minutes. Like a whole, this is when it was just me. It was just me, nobody else. I can make breakfast in 3 minutes, and I had bacon, eggs, and toast. That ain't no cereal breakfast. Okay, that was a hot meal in 3 minutes. And so everything was going at the same time. I had all of it. And it only take a minute for the toast. So the prep took longer than it took for everything to cook. Had the heat on high, I had an electric stove. Everything was on high. Just flip it. Season it. I put the eggs in. Boom. Everything. I mean, it was just like as fast as possible. And I got it done. But I didn't want to wait. And I can't say that it was, 5-star because I was in college. So this was just literally me like, all right, I want this type of breakfast. I'm going to make it real quick, head out the door, get to my class. It worked. I can't say that it didn't work because it did, but I know that it didn't last long. I did it for up until the time that I'm like wanting better for myself, wanting more. And so multitasking, actually what it is, and this isn't about multitasking, but I did want to dive into it just briefly because there's a whole course that I have about multitasking and how it relates to authenticity, emotional intelligence. But multitasking actually puts your brain, because I'm doing this exercise where I'm like having you do one task at a time, and then I'm having you mix all the tasks together and how long it takes you. And you will see that when you do it, it takes a lot longer to do the multitasking. And it's a lot shorter time for you to do one task at a time. And so, one thing that's powerful about understanding what multitasking does is when you're doing one task at a time, you're using 100% of the brain because you're focused on the one thing. The power of one. You are focused on that one thing for that period of time. Then, if you are multitasking, your brain is only using a quarter, maybe even smaller than that. A quarter of the brain, a third of the brain. It's probably only using like a third for one of the tasks because you're doing it all at the same time. And so, in science, they call it task switching. I got that from Caroline Leaf, where your brain is doing these task switching and it's like doing this. And so ultimately, if you think about over a period of 1 minute, if you're switching tasks faster than your brain can keep up with, it's really going to take you 64 seconds longer to focus on the other task, but before you even can remember what you did last. 64 seconds. And so what you're doing is damage to your brain by multitasking. And at first, we're like, okay, I really just need to get things done and I just need to get it done across the board. But you're trying to do it all yourself. So, friend, outsmart yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Let's think of another example. What do you think that you can actually get more done with more time and no sleep? Do you think that you can actually get more done and with more time and no sleep? Let me know in the chat if you think so, because this is also a common myth um, that we think about just as people. We think, okay, if I have more time, I can get more done. However, everybody has the same 24 hours. Now, unless somebody's like, okay, we're about to change the amount of hours in a day, or, you're just going to, it's like a worldwide thing, and now everybody has to abide off of the same time continuum. It's like everybody has the same 24 hours. So as of now, everybody has the same 24 hours, and you have to outsmart yourself. It's not that you need more time to get more done. You have to do the right things in the allotted time that you have. Okay? Outsmart yourself. Don't do it. Outsmart yourself. Don't do it. You need your rest. And actually, you get more done out of rest. If you find yourself running on fumes and you're getting burnt out doing something, that wasn't for you to do. Don't do it. Outsmart yourself. Don't do it. And so we really have to slow down and think about what is going to be best at this time. And then you're going to also think about what is going to be best in the long run. So maybe it's about the sleep that you're getting. If you normally take Sundays to do rest and take your rest, then do not schedule any activities. Because if you already do a lot of activities Monday through Saturday, and then you schedule activities for Sunday, now when are you supposed to rest? When do you rest? Outsmart yourself. Just don't do it. Commit to whatever time you know that you want to have, like, for bedtime, and make that consistent, because when you make it consistent, then your body will get used to, okay, I know she normally goes down around 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 8, whatever time you normally go down, your body will get used to that thing. Okay? And then you will want to make sure that you have added intentional rest. So, because that's going to be the best way to operate. That's going to be how you have the most energy. You have to be well rested. Okay, so that's why you're going to prioritize everything that you need to do and make sure, okay, I know in this allotted time, this is what I need to do. And ultimately, you just gonna have to end up practicing, prioritizing the things that are gonna be the most urgent and then the most important. So what needs to happen right now? And then the most important. And so it's going to ultimately be up to you. This is going to be up to you. You find yourself burnt out, maybe you need to tweak some things, change it up a little bit. Outsmart yourself, friend, and just don't do it. Delegate. Okay, so one thing you can't delegate is you sleeping on that bed. That's one thing you cannot delegate. So that is one thing that you have to do. So the other things somebody else can do, yes. Yes. Delegate those things. Okay. Now, here's another scenario or question. Should you just do it because no one else will do it? So you have a task that needs to be done. Let's just think about your own household before we get to business. Think about your own household. So if if you're not living by yourself, you obviously are going to do it. So if you're not living by yourself, but you live with others, your family members, or just others like roommates, should you, if there is a task that you know has to get done, the floor needs to be vacuumed, or the dishes need to be done, the bathroom needs to be cleaned, do you feel like you should just do it because no one else is going to do it? Well, that probably is the first thing that you're thinking. Yes, I'm just going to do it. Let me help you. Delegate. Okay? Hold them accountable to what they said they would do. So first you got to get them to say yes. So ask, have you asked anyone? Have you even asked? So ask, hey, if I'm doing this, can you do this? Just ask and get their yes. When they say yes, do that or hold them accountable to it. Hey, you said you would do this by this time frame. This time frame has come and is not done. How can I help you get this done? And I will not do it. I just want it to be done. And I want you to help. Is that okay? Outsmart yourself, friend. Just don't do it. I know you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And I know because I've done it. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And then you're feeling salty and then you're resenting. You're like, ugh, this is just crazy. But outsmart yourself. Don't do it. The only thing you need to do is make sure you get that rest. Okay. That's it. And that's all. Okay. Make sure that you are getting your rest. So, all right, drop an emoji if you're ready for the next tip. Go ahead and drop your favorite emoji if you are ready for your next tip. Okay. So we talked about multitasking. Like, okay, we're not into that. We are not about that life. Okay. We talked about not getting sleep just because we know that we have a lot of things to get done. Oh no. We're not about that life either. And now we were talking about delegation. Like, well, you just need to make sure you ask to make sure that you can hold them accountable. These are leadership skills, friend. This is what leaders do. And if you are going to lead a team of people in your business, you have to practice even at home. You have to practice with your friends. You have to practice with at your job. Like you just are going to need to implement this all the time. And when you show up, they're going to be looking like, okay, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And so, if you're ready for the next, here it is. Do you know the type of doer you are? Do you know the type of doer that you are? What type of doer are you? So there's a few different types. We'll dive a little bit into them. There's the thinker doer, the follow along doer, and the urgency doer. Okay? So what is the thinker doer? Well, the thinker doer is the one that thinks things all the way through. The thinker doer is the one that thinks things all the way through before they actually make the decision. Okay, and the follow along doer is, oh, because I see them. Okay, I know that they did it. I see that they like it. Now I think I'm going to take action. I'm going to take action because, well, their story was kind of similar to mine. I feel like we can relate. So I know if they can do it, I know if I just follow the steps, I should be able to do it. Follow along doer. The last one is the urgency doer. The urgency doer is like do. Oh, well, we need to do this as fast as possible. Let's get it done. What are we waiting for? Let's go. So that's the urgency doer. Which one are you out of those choices. Which one do you think you are? Now, here's the catch. One is not better than the other. I'm sure you'll go through seasons of life where you are probably more of the thinker doer than the urgency doer. So that happened with me where, before kids, I was the urgency doer. Like, okay, let's get it done. Boom, 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 boom. And then when I had them kids, it was like, okay, I got to think about every little thing. My goodness, I got to think about, okay, what ingredients is in this food? What when you get to the doctor, like, okay, what type of what is in this medicine? What is in this vaccination? You got to think everything through before saying yes. And then I think I was more of the follow along doer, in my younger days when it was like, okay, if you do it, then I'll do it. Because you want to do everything as a group. You don't want to just be doing stuff by yourself. And so I definitely fell into each of these categories um, in separate seasons of my life. Now, there's pros and cons to where you're at. So when it comes to your business, which doer do you think you should be when it comes to your business? Let me know. Do you think when it comes to you investing in your business, are you going to invest following along because someone else did? Oh, I invested in this. I think you should too. Or are you investing based on the thinker doer? You got to think it all the way through. Does it make sense? Because you haven't already thought it through. So now you have to think it through. And it's going to take you a little longer to figure out what you want. And usually, the longer it takes, the more it leans to no. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. I'm telling the truth. If you haven't all the way thought about it through, if you have to think long and hard, if you have to think it all the way through, it wasn't in your heart's desire anyway. So that's going to be a soft no. You hear people say that's a hard no because they know off the bat. But when you think it through, that's going to most likely be a soft no. Very rarely will it be a yes, I'll go through. And if it is a yes, it's like, are you going to pay attention to what needs to get done? So, are you going to follow through with what it is that you are purchasing? Now, when it comes to your business, the urgency doer has already thought everything through, has already thought, hey, they know based off the business plan where I want to be, here's where I am now, and here's where I need to be, and what I need to do to get where I need to be. The urgency doer is expecting for those doors to open. She walk in, taking her journey, and when she comes across a door that is open, an open opportunity, then she will see that she was already ready for it. That's why you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay? You got to stay. Type that in the chat. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Because a business-minded entrepreneur who knows where they're trying to take their business has urgency. They have urgency about what it is that they're doing because they know where they're trying to go. So when the opportunity comes, boom, 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 boom. Let's make it happen. Why is it taking so long? Let's get to it. It should just be rolling like clockwork, okay? And hopefully the client experience is absolutely amazing because that's what it's about. And literally thinking about my own decisions that I've made when I was operating as the urgency doer, okay, when I acted swiftly, that client experience was actually amazing. And the ones that like took a while to think about, those client experiences were, you know, midsection. Is that a thing? Midsection. My client experience was like, it worked. Um, but when I took immediate action, oh, that client experience was absolutely amazing because basically I was matching energy. Now, don't get fooled by the word energy, but I was matching energy because it was like excitement. It was, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm already in there because I already know what it is. Boom, paid in full. And that's how you get them paid in fulls. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So let me just reset. I'm gonna take a little bit of time to reset here. If you are just now joining uh, this live, I am talking about outsmarting yourself, friend, and just not doing it because ultimately you sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. You are giving up a piece of yourself that you may not get back. You're giving up a piece of yourself that you may not get back. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So we were talking about different scenarios of how to outsmart yourself and just not do it. So multitasking was number one. Outsmart yourself, friend. Don't do it. Don't multitask. Don't do it. Do one task at a time and you'll get more done faster. Because the second scenario was, well, can I get more done if I had more time and just not went to sleep? Unfortunately, no, that is not the case. And so you operate off of rest. Your body recharges and refuels during that time of rest. And then when you add intentional rest, how much more can you get done in a lot amount of time? How much more can your brain function even better with rest and proper nutrition and hydration? I mean, it's endless, right? I mean, it's like being a kid again. You know how much energy kids have. It would be like having that massive amount of energy, flexibility and mobility. Not that I'm reminiscing on how I am not as flexible as I need to be, but I'm working on it. You will see my stories on my health and fitness journey. Anyhow, side note, outsmart yourself and don't do it. The last tip was delegating. Because a lot of people take things upon themselves. That was me as well. Like, I'm just, forget it. I don't even want to talk about it. And then I'll be like doing everything and then I get resentful about it. And so, and that would not just be, I'm talking about at home, I'm talking about at work, I'm talking about in your business. If you're feeling like, oh, well, they're not going to do it anyway, like you have to outsmart yourself and just don't do it. What's another thing? What's another one? And then the last thing was knowing the type of doer that you are. So these are just some of the things that we've talked about. Know the type of, and that was the thinker doer, the follow along doer, and the urgency doer. And what that means and how you could be different doers in different seasons of life. Okay. So I hope this helped. I hope this was helpful for you in understanding what it actually means to outsmart yourself and don't do it. So I'm taking 7 new applicants. I'm taking 7 new applicants. If you are interested in having my support as you enter your next level, then do it now. Have that urgency doer spirit. This is your next. Okay? This is your next. So just DM Jumpstart and I will send you a link to schedule a complimentary call, normally $19, but it'll be waived for you exclusively because you're here with me. All calls must be booked by or before Tuesday, at 9 p.m. And so I am super excited. Again, you can check everything out, even here at marketingwithmish.com. Check everything out there. If you have any questions, concerns, or even you just want to see a little bit before reaching out and booking a call. But yes, DM Jumpstart so that I know this is the particular offer that you're ready for, that you are just wanting to learn more about, even the questions. When you go to the website, that would be under the Done For You agency. So that's what you would click and go from there. Answer a few questions and see how we can help. And even just scheduling a call if that's what you just like to jump to, just DM the word jumpstart and I'll send you the link to do that as well. So I hope this helped. I hope this was helpful. And tomorrow, I look forward to talking with you more about how automation is the key to happiness. These titles, they get me, they get me, they get me right. They are so fun to come up with. But yes, we're going to dive into automation, what that looks like. Automation is one of the keys to happiness. It may not be the key, but it is one of the keys to happiness. And how life, how sales, how just how you can scale better with automation. Okay? So until next time, friends, I enjoyed and I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video. Ciao.